Today we're going to be talking about love and karma, and I'm going to be interviewing people who are going to be talking with us about their karmic relationships with people in their lives who they have loved, and how did that karma fulfill itself? What did it look like in general? And I'm going to be starting with my friend here, Janet Decker. And Janet is going to be talking with us about her karmic relationships and love relationships. And what would you like to share with us? Where would you like to start?
Well, I think
First of all, what is karma?
oh, karma is basically what goes around comes around. So anything that you have created, manifested in a lifetime, you're putting out there. And if that manifestation is not for the good of all, if it tends to be on a negative side, like you want to own a person, not let them be themselves, not let them do what they need to do, and you become the owner of that person, that's not a very spiritual way to be. And so what happens is you have now put that out as karma, negative karma, which needs to be neutralized. And so in your lifetime, in any given lifetime, because karma moves through all lifetimes, eventually it catches up with you. And so I could actually have a karmic relationship in this lifetime that happened centuries ago.
Or that began centuries ago?
Yes, began centuries ago, and that karma can continue, or it could skip centuries and only showed up to be neutralized, leveled out in this lifetime.
So we're talking about karma applying over lifetimes, over a soul's reincarnation.
Yes, over a soul's
Yes.
reincarnation, yes. And, of course, people who don't believe in reincarnation wouldn't get this, but to me, it's the only thing that makes sense, is that we go around many, many times, and in every one of those lifetimes you incur karma. Now, the goal is, as we evolve spiritually, is to incur good karma, because then it's good karma that's always coming back to you, right?
Okay, and what does good karma look like?
Good karma is happy karma. It's feel-good karma. It's things that come to you, make you happy, make you feel good. Things work well. To me, that's good karma.
Mm-hmm.
When you're having a miserable relationship with someone, it's just not working, you're pulling teeth, maybe they're doing things that just really hurt you, that's bad karma.
Okay.
Okay, that's bad karma.
So is
Creating hurt in another person.
Creating hurt in another person is bad karma. Some people think that karma is a set of circumstances that we keep recreating in our lives, having to do with a particular theme of karma. And you had said a little bit earlier that almost all of your relationships was it love relationships or all relationships are karmically driven in this lifetime?
I love relationships mostly. I'm sure there are others as well.
When you say love relationships, do you mean romantic relationships or family and romantic?
For me, in this lifetime, I'm going to say it's 99% love.
Mm-hmm.
It's
romantic.
Romantic love, yes.
Okay.
And yes, I'm sure there's a smattering of others in there, but it's mostly romantic love. Mm-hmm. And that was, I believe that to be true, and I've had many relationships in this lifetime. Some have been incredibly painful. And what actually catapulted me onto my spiritual path was a karmic love relationship that
Mm-hmm.
went bad.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you believe that these people that you had these karmic love relationships with, is it your understanding that you and they came here at this time period, knowing that you would be in relationship again and would be working those things out before you came here?
I knew it, and they know it. The difference between what those people may experience and what I experience is I understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
they may not,
Okay.
because they don't know about karma, or they're not into the spiritual path, so they don't recognize it. I, on the other hand, am on my spiritual path, and all of my studies over the last 30 years is all revolves around um, spiritual experiences
Okay.
in
So
this lifetime.
this particular relationship, karmic relationship, did you say it catapulted you?
It did. I was not on a spiritual path. You know, I was brought up as a Lutheran, and I followed all the Lutheran dogma. And around about 32 years of age, I was in this relationship with this man, and deeply in love. We were supposed to be married. I had my dress, I had my outfit. We had planned to get married on a cruise. It was just all really beautiful. And then one day, out of the clear blue sky, he says, "I'm leaving, I have another woman."
Wow.
And I was devastated.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Out of
totally
the clear blue sky.
out of the clear blue sky. And so I was nothing. And so I was in a midst of depression and anxiety and hurt and pain and anger and frustration and all the things that go along with that. So a friend of mine said, "Why don't we go down and see Reed Brown?" Now, Reed Brown, at the time I lived in Maryland, and Reed Brown was a minister of a metaphysical church in Arlington, Virginia, which was about an hour, 45 minutes from where I lived. And I said, "Well, tell me, who is he? What?" She said, "He does readings. I think he can help you." And so, not knowing anything about any of the stuff, why not? All right? And so we went, and I was astounded at what that man told me.
About your karmic relationship?
Yes, about so many things, but it's particularly about that, because that was my main reason for going. And the interesting thing about that was Reed had you fill out 5 questions on a 3x5 card, and then you fold them up and hold them in your hand. And then, and I had filled mine out at home, because I knew this is what he did, because my friend told me. She said, "Go ahead and make your questions up on a 3x5 card, because that's what he's going to have you do." So I did. So I went down with this folded piece of paper. And he sat down opposite me, and he put his hand over mine, and he said a prayer, and he instantly started telling me every answer to those questions. So everything
He was
about-
good.
He was incredibly good. So everything about that experience was so powerful that I said, "Okay, I have to know more." That catapulted me on the spiritual path. But I went because of my relationship with Steve. And what he told me was that I had been a Roman centurion way back, many centuries ago. And I held Steve under my thumb. He really was in love with another person, and I would not allow them to be together. I would not allow that relationship to take place, because I held the power.
And was that person the other person he left you for in this life?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Come around. What goes
Yes.
around comes around.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he left me for the woman I wouldn't let him be with in that other lifetime.
Wow.
Yes. And so now, yes, so now I have that information, and
And what did you do with it?
well, I didn't like it. And he said to me, "Forget it, he's never coming back." He said, "You need to move on." And of course, that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted him back. I thought maybe they would have their fling, and then he would just be done with it and come back. He said, "No, he will never be back," and he never came back. And now, I can look back on it and go, wow, this whole experience had a multifold effect, because number one, it leveled that neutralized the karma.
Right.
Now we were even. So,
And what was the gift from this experience? I like to think that there's a gift in every experience of loss or sadness. The gift from this experience was that the field was level. No longer did you have this karmic imbalance between the two of you, and
what else? Okay, I now am on my spiritual path.
yes.
that which was probably as big to me, looking in hindsight, it was as big to me as just neutralizing and leveling this karma.
As important to you,
As
yes.
important to be put onto my spiritual path for the rest of my lifetime. And so that's why it was so important to me. It literally started me on the path that I'm on right now.
And you are now a hypnotherapist from the Bangor area, and you do lots of healing work with hypnosis, and
Well, I do healing work as it's needed.
yes.
You know, there's not necessarily, I don't know if I even have a name for healing work that I do.
Sure you do, full body.
Full body, yeah, that we know, full body.
Just before we
Yes,
started, they said
yes.
that.
And I believe that actually happens whenever I do a hypnotherapy session. Even though I'm not putting my hands on, it doesn't really matter because the energy that's in the room and it's balancing everything.
That's coming
including-
through you.
Yes, exactly. And I like to think that when I work with a client, well, I don't like, I have to say honestly, everyone who leaves my office feels better in some way. They may not have had complete resolution for what they came for, but they feel better than when they walked in the door.
So is there anything you would like to say to Steve, like, thank you, Steve, for dropping me?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for doing what you did. Absolutely, and I wish him well on his path. You know, I mean, what else am I going to say? And I do wish him well on his path. It's so over. It's so completed that I love it. It's very freeing to me. We don't know we have these levels of heaviness that comes from karma.
Yes.
And with every karmic relationship that you level out, you know, finish, that you neutralize, you become a lighter person. You see? So it helps me every time I have one of these relationships show up. And what's funny is I knew it. I knew all my relationships were karmic. My love relations were karmic in this lifetime. And I went to see an esoteric astrologer probably about 10 years ago now, 8 or 10 years ago. And she said to me, looking at my chart, she said, you know that there's no new love relationships in your chart. Every one of your relationships is karmic. I have no planets in my house of relationships.
Wow.
Not one. And she said, every one of your relationships is karmic. So just know that you're completing a lot of old stuff in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You're clearing it up and moving out. And usually there's a bigger reason for that. It's because it's time to move on.
Right.
You know, it's time to lighten up. We can't lighten up if we're carrying all these heavy layers of karma.
So
It is.
losing karma between you and someone you're no longer with lightens up your person.
It does.
Yes.
I think it does.
Energetically, emotionally, does it physically make you feel lighter?
Not initially. In the end, yes.
Yes.
Yes, it doesn't. I feel like I no longer have an anchor weighing me down. And with every one of these relationships that have been cleared up, I'm a much lighter, happier human being.
That's the way to go.
It is. It is. Well, you know, isn't that the goal? We want to be happy in this lifetime. I'm not here to be in misery every day of my life.
No.
You know, what good is that? I've had lifetimes like that. I know them because I'm a hypnotherapist and because, you know, I'm just, clearly things come to me about my past lives.
Right.
And some of them were terrible. So yes, I want to get rid of this stuff.
Get it over with.
Get it over with. Get it
Yes.
finished and move on.
Yes.
So they do me a favor, all these guys that have come in and are willing to play this game with me
Right.
one more time to help me finish up. There's one, though, there is one karmic relationship that hasn't resolved.
Oh.
It has not. And this one goes hugely back, like 2,000 years, maybe even more. It was during one of my Gaelic lifetimes, Celtic lives. And I don't know, that one hasn't finished. So that one I may end up having to come back and do that one again. But
Well, I'm a firm believer that one of the ways you can avoid that is by cutting all the ties between you and that person on all of the chakra levels and on a spiritual level, and by surrounding that person with white light energy and loving energy, and praying for that person, and praying for the karma between you to be resolved from your end. And then whatever happens to them, they can deal with it, and we don't have to come
I
back
like
again.
that. I like that, and I needed that reminder. So thank you
Yes.
very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
That I do have power over that.
You do.
You know, through the
Because-
law of grace, I can
Exactly, through
resolve
the law of
mine.
grace.
Yes, I can resolve my side of it, and then let him go.
Yes.
And you know, it's funny because again, it's another one of those relationships I really wanted. You know, we had so much in common, on the same wavelength, but it just isn't meant to be. And
Right.
so I have to let it go. So yes, thank you for that, because that's a reminder to me, and I really think we're all mirrors for each other. We're here to reflect
Oh, yeah.
and talk, and so I thank you for this opportunity, because you've just given me what I need. Well, you
I
were-
was just listening.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what it is. It is about listening.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I'm going to, and I know that, and I just needed the reminder. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you very much for talking with us about love and karma in your relationships, and sharing that information with us. Any last thing you want to say about karma and love, or?
No, I think people just really need to be aware that what's going on has a much deeper meaning than they're probably aware of.
A deeper significance?
Deeper significance,
Yes.
yes. And I think it behooves each and every one of us to really look at it. Get your heart out of the way and let's study it.
Right.
Let's just look at it. Because in that looking at it, things are revealed.
Yes.
And you can come to know yourself better. You really can.
Know yourself, know the one.
No, exactly.
Know yourself and you know the one.
Exactly.
So, thank you very much, Janet. I appreciate your sharing with us and talking with us about love and karma. And I guess that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yes, pleasure speaking with you also.